he was saying that that delusion is a prison. And that's a fact. You know, it's like when we think that I'm separate from everything, we actually enter into a prison of fear. It's like now I need to kind of carve out my place within this environment and kind of fight for the resources. And those that are thinking that actually there is a oneness here and I'm part of that and that's eternal, it kind of gives one a state of peace of mind by which you can kind of just stop thinking about yourself in one sense and you think about the larger self in another sense, and that self includes everyone. You know, there's a really interesting. We're going to come up against this, come up to this today in our reading of the Bhagavatam. But a really interesting question gets asked because we've been reading about how the residents of Vrindavan loved Krishna more than they loved their own children, and you know, to Maharaj Pariksit, he's saying like we don't see that so much, you know, like generally people love their own children like with extreme feeling. And other children, you know, they may want the best for them. They may, you know, they may wish them the best, but there's not the same kind of investment. But this was a different thing. And why is that? And the answer that Shukadeva Goswami gives, and Shukadeva Goswami is like the most full-on otherworldly being. You know, he's from the zone that like that Einstein is just chipping away at. You know, like Einstein's like, I think I'm figuring something out here about the universe, and Shukadeva Goswami is like, he's there, like fully, and he gives an answer that really speaks to this point that I think we'll find interesting, and it has to do with really understanding the self on deeper levels.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Hakone, Japan, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a Bhakti-Yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York City, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. It's Monday, December 8th, 2025. It's episode 1706. Good morning, beautiful people. Me and Miss Pranapriya are here, sporting our robes. We're in this, like, super... Dominica's giving us this, like, whirlwind first-class tour of old world Japan, and we are in this beautiful little town, and this beautiful, you know, it's like one of these hotels that was probably pretty, like, out of control in 1955. Yeah. But right now it's like an old hotel, but it still looks...
It sort of feels like it could still be 1955, though, in a good way. Yeah,
but it's like a super charming... Is it expensive?
No.
No, it's not even expensive either. Our meal today, Kaustubha, was incredible. Yeah. Not just the food, the layout of the food. They have a boiling pot of vegetarian broth, and then you got and you add all your. Then you each get a box of vegetables and udon noodles, and you have to add it to the broth. Then you scoop it out and put it in your bowl.
Yeah, it's,
talk about it. You're the chef too. What else did you like about that today?
Oh, I mean, that was great. But even our salad was incredible with all the little condiments and garnishes and sauces.
Yeah, it's like in India when you get a little a thali,
yeah,
sort of like that. Yeah, so we did, you know, I think of the last 24 hours, I've taken more baths and I've taken Japan has bathtubs down. Yeah. They have a bathtub that's not very big. See, America, we're thinking like, you know, one day I'm going to get a really gigantic bathtub. No, you don't need it big. You just need it small but deep. And then they have a heater. It just stays heated. Like, you ever take a bath? Do you ever take baths, Kaustubha?
First of all, konnichiwa, Raghu-san.
Konnichiwa. Arigato. Kaustubha-san.
What did you ask? Do I ever take a bath?
Do you take
baths? What are you
baths?
implying? I don't really. I take showers.
Okay.
I mean, when I go in the river,
So,
but not tubs.
okay,
I'm not
okay.
much of a tub person.
well, baths are
Oh,
great.
but just
But
before
they
we
have
go
these
for
small
forward,
bathtubs, and they're
just
deep. You know, when you take a bath, it's like I always start it off too hot, then it gets too cold. Their bathtubs stay at a temperature, and you don't
okay.
just take a bath; you bathe with a shower before your bath. It is the most efficient country, and they don't even get rid of the bath water. They save the bath water and it just stays hot.
Well,
I think they turn
that's
off the heat on it,
yeah,
but
gotta
they
do
water,
something with
they
that
water the
water.
plants with it.
Now they save it for like emergencies, I think.
Earthquake.
Yeah,
Okay.
earthquakes is a
Save
thing.
it. Okay.
They save bath water,
Hey,
but you're already clean, so it's not that dirty.
Just
What else, Mayor?
just one
I gotta
moment,
help you.
Pranapriya-san. I think it would be good if we had people turn off their pictures because there's
Sure.
been a little
Really?
bit of
Oh,
a
I'm sorry, people. I
audio
like
lag.
looking
Not
at your
much,
faces.
not much, but let's play it safe. Yeah, sorry, folks.
Happy birthday shout out.
To Sweet Lady Kate. One of
Yeah,
our
and
fans.
Ishri Sundari, Harry Ball.
Both of them.
Ishwar Sundari, Sweet Lady Kate, both. Wow,
Magical
that's a big day.
And it's the anniversary of the death of John Lennon.
Oh, when I'm at home at this time, it's always a big deal because everyone goes out to the park right there
Oh.
and sings the song just right
Good
around
for you.
the corner from my place. Right.
A lot going
Okay.
on today.
Everything with you?
Yeah.
I'm still so jet lagged. You don't understand. I just had to take.
You
like,
look
this-
great. You got your silken robes on, and
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
you look like you're fitting right in.
I just dragged myself out of a nap to do the show. I was sleeping so hard. I
All right.
just can't get over this jet lag, and I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna because we're leaving. in
No,
about
we're
a
trying.
day, so.
No point in it.
Anything else you want to share about Japan while we're here?
I love Japan so much.
Yeah.
That's the extent of my sentiment for it. But yeah, I think we didn't really quite know what to expect when we were coming here.
No,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
cool.
You knew even less than I did, being that
You'd never
I
been there
knew
before,
less.
Raghu?
I've been here before. I didn't
it's
know.
a Hakone.
Oh,
This
so what-
side
this-
trip. Yeah. We didn't have a lot
No,
of
but-
details on this side trip.
Yeah,
we
I
just
just-
sort of trusted Dominica for
Said
our
Dominica.
planning, and she really came through.
Yeah.
It's
No,
wonderful.
she knows what she's doing.
Tomorrow we're going bike riding to
Look at you
beautiful
two.
old temples.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right.
Let us
we
check
get
in with
into our announcements?
Pranapriya-san for announcements.
All right, we have a show again tomorrow at the same time slot, which is 7 a.m. Eastern time. And then also, next round of Sage Groups is starting up soon. It'll run starting Monday, January 5th.
Okay.
Start your new year on the right foot with a new Sage Group. And you can begin registration for that Saturday, December 20th at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And that'll be on our website, wisdomofthesages.com.
You want to get in early on that. Mark it
Yeah,
down.
definitely.
Make a little alarm on your phone.
Yeah.
Get in the group you want to be in.
everybody wants to join a sage group this time. We hear nothing but positive things about it. We also have to announce Mayapur is happening right after the Flower Festival. So there's a discount for people who are doing any of the trainings in January. You get a couple $100 off. But if you want to just come out for this week in Mayapur, you could even fly into the Flower Festival on the 23rd or Flower Festival is the 24th in Mumbai. Then it's a Saturday night, and then Monday we're all flying to Calcutta. It's a short little flight,
All right.
and we all go to Mayapur for a week, and it is magnificent. So, if you
Gita
want
Priya's
more
going to be at
interest,
the Flower Festival this year.
who?
Gita Priya.
Oh,
Gita
My
Priya, all
wife?
right.
Yeah.
Your wife. Anyway, go to Raghu, raghu.pilgrimage@gmail.com to find more info. Our good friend Tara is doing the registration. He'll give you everything you need because I'm not sure if it's up on the site yet.
I don't
It
think
might
is.
be, but I'm not
Soon,
positive.
yeah. One more thing before one more announcement is our friend Maya just released her single.
Oh, yeah.
Dropped
single.
on Spotify. It's called
Wow.
Bass Jump. Yeah.
Oh, Rug's into that kind of stuff. Base jumping. Squirrel suits. She got to put out a next song called Squirrel Suit.
It's girl suit.
So check that out. We can put the Spotify link up in the show notes.
Congratulations,
So-
Maya. We love you.
Yeah, Maya's great. All
All
right.
right. Should we dive into our nugget?
Yeah.
Everything going good over there in Rishikesh, Prabhu?
I'm grinding it out, Raghunath. I didn't step out of my bedroom today until 1:30 in the afternoon. We're literally,
You
I
gotta
just
take
kept
care of
going.
yourself, Prabhu.
You gotta
This is
get
what I got to
the-
do. This is what I got to do. I don't care about taking care of myself. I don't care about, if I'm in the groove, I got to stay in that groove. Got some good work done. Got some good work done. So I'm
Okay.
happy about it. Yeah.
We're happy for you.
Yeah.
Then in the afternoon, I wander out and go down to Gaṅgā, chant my rounds. And then I come back and do the show.
Where are you staying? That same place you stayed last year?
I'm saying, no, I'm staying with the Bhakti-Yoga Rishikesh people. But you haven't been to the place. You haven't been to their little bat
think I have.
cave setup they got over here.
Okay. You like it?
It's yeah, they're really taking good care of me.
Feeding you
Good
well?
people, good devotees. Yeah, they have a really good cook here. They cook for me. My laundry's taken care of. They give me a
What?
nice room to stay in. And the first 10 days I was here, I was doing all these programs that they're lining up. And then they said, now you just go into your cave and we'll just take care of you. So they're really taking good care of me.
Do they give you a robe or kimono?
I did not get a kimono.
Okay. Just checking out how well they're taking care of you.
It's a
All right.
nice kimono you got there, Raghunath, too.
Thank you.
Very
I like it
nice.
too. It's good color and
Thank
prana
Well,
Priya too.
that's your color, that minty green. It's like when you get fancy, that's the way you go with your.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, he has
With
that
your
nice
vest.
vest. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Minty green.
Okay.
I'm so delirious right now, Prabhu. If you only knew.
You look like a happy Buddha over there.
All right, should we get into the nugget?
Yeah.
Please read.
This comes from Albert Einstein.
Oh yeah.
And it's
I think
drawn
we had
from-
this. We may have had this nugget one time before, or maybe like
Oh.
part of this nugget one time before. But even if we did, it's worth revisiting.
Okay. This is drawn
Where's-
from a real letter written in 1950 to the family of his close friend Michel Besso after Besso's death.
Okay.
Okay. You ready for
Ready,
this?
Raghu? This you got to pay attention. This is deep stuff here, Raghu.
All right. He writes, a human being is part of the whole, called by us the universe. A part limited in time and space, he experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as though something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty.
Oh man. Raghu-san.
I don't know how Einstein figured this out. He was pretty smart, but he was
He's a pretty
definitely
smart
onto
guy.
something, right?
Yeah.
When he says the universe, we would just say God or Krishna. It's the same idea, though, that we're not these isolated, cut off little beings, but something, part of something infinitely bigger. And at the same time, we're still individuals. But because we forget that bigger connection, we feel separate.
Yeah.
We feel disconnected. So naturally, our love shrinks down to just me and mine, my body, my family, my stuff, what's right in front of my face. But the more we really understand, who we are, what this whole thing is, the wider that your compassion stretches, your care stretches, that's how we know someone's actually evolving. We get out of our me-centered universe. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
do you
I agree with you. I think Einstein's a very intelligent person. And I think he's onto something here. I was when I saw this, I started to think, Raghunath, I started thinking, like, here's this Einstein who, seemed like a good person. And he's got the super intelligence. And he's working in his field of, physics and science. And it made me think, maybe people get into science for different reasons. Like some people become a police officer because they just really want to help and serve their community. And some people become a police officer because they want a gun and they want to kick ass, and they want the badge and they just want, you know what I'm saying? You get different people
Yeah,
that come
I
to it
do.
for different reasons. And I think probably some people come to science for the same reasons. So you get some people that are likely to come to science just because they hate the idea that there's anything or anyone superior to them that they should submit to.
I never thought of
And
it like that. That's a good point. They want to be the knowers of everything.
Yeah, yeah, and they want to tear down anything that's potentially above them. And
Interesting. I
then
never thought of it like that.
other people may come just because they really just want to understand the truth. And perhaps if you have this intelligence and you come to science with that kind of objectivity, I guess, and openness, purity, you could say, sincerity. Let's say sincerity, right? Then maybe you start to pick up on the truths of the universe. And this is like really fundamental universal truth here, right? And this is kind of where Chaitanya, his philosophy is just so fine-tuned, one and different. Certainly we are individuals. I'm me, you're you. And I will always be me and you will always be you. But at the same time, we are one, in a sense. And this is about understanding that oneness. And if we look across spiritual traditions, all around the world, there's always going to be sometimes it's not so prominent. In other places it's very prominent, but this idea of a oneness, that we're going to so many things, what he said about that this feeling of disconnection, our love shrinks down to just me and mine, my body, my family. He was saying that delusion is a prison, and that's a fact. It's like when we think that I'm separate from everything, we actually enter into a prison of fear. It's like now I need to kind of carve out my place within this environment and kind of fight for the resources. And those that are thinking that actually there is a oneness here, and I'm part of that, and that's eternal, it kind of gives one a state of peace of mind by which you can kind of just stop thinking about yourself in one sense, and you think about the larger self in another sense, and that self includes everyone. There's a really interesting. We're going to come up to this today in our reading of the Bhāgavatam. But a really interesting question gets asked because we've been reading about how the residents in Vrindavan loved Krishna more than they loved their own children. and to Maharaj Pariksit, he's saying like we don't see that so much, like generally people love their own children like with extreme feeling. And other children, they may want the best for them. They may wish them the best, but there's not the same kind of investment. But this was a different thing. And why is that? And the answer that Shukadeva Goswami gives, and Shukadeva Goswami is like the most full-on otherworldly being. He's from the zone that Einstein is just chipping away at. Like Einstein's like, I think I'm figuring something out here about the universe. And Shukadeva Goswami is like, he's there, like fully. And he gives an answer that really speaks to this point that I think we'll find interesting. And it has to do with really understanding the self on deeper levels. But also, he also pointed out that it appeared to him that it was by widening our circle of compassion, right? Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison. We break out by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. From what I hear from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is just fitting in. Like, in other words, Einstein's not seeing the personal God. We understand that when the heart is soft and you aim it at the personal God, you feel prema, you feel love for God. And when it turns back to the people, that same soft heart feels compassion. And I think it's that side of pure awareness that Einstein has access to. because maybe he does not understand the personal God, but he can understand compassion. He can understand what a soft heart is like when it's facing the rest of the world, and he's seeing that as the freedom from the prison, and as the maybe he's not saying it, but I like the way that you said it, that he's seeing that as a symbol of someone evolving, someone understanding themselves, someone understanding this world and their universe and their place in it and who they are. It should naturally manifest his compassion. And if it's not, we're still locked in the prison.
Sure. There's almost like there's a loneliness that follows the soul, the disconnected soul. A loneliness and a sadness. I remember my first apartment, and it was a time in my life where I had so many friends, and I was starting a band, and we had a whole crew of kids we hung out with. It's in one sense, there was no lack of people to hang out with. I had tons of friends, and I had this little apartment. I used to sit in this apartment, and the apartment faced a wall, so you couldn't really. So it had a window, but there was nothing to see, and it was just like. New York City is a perfect example. It's like I'm surrounded by people, and I feel so alone.
Lonely. Yeah, right.
It's the deep loneliness of the soul, that disappointment, that disconnection, that generally brings people to do anything in desperation for connection. Sometimes it's drugs. Sometimes it's something like. Something that's sort of risky or dangerous, or sometimes it's a quest for God, a quest for like real connection, because the other things will fall short. You ever get that? You know what I'm talking about?
I think I do know what you're talking about, Raghunath. Yes, that the experience of loneliness and the experience of being alone. I guess it's a spectrum of. On one hand, it can be called loneliness, and on the other hand, it can be called being alone. But it's something that we all should spend some time with one way or another and examine and feel out. And I think there's a lot to learn there, But, for that realized soul who's feeling the oneness with everything, they're not feeling alone. I mean, they're not feeling lonely, let's put it that way. They may be alone, but they're not. In one sense, you could say they're never feeling alone. That's, it's funny,
alone, but not lonely.
That there's that one time where where Prabhupada was saying, someone was writing to him because they had gone off. That was the early stages of the Krishna consciousness movement, where like if you got into it, you might get the mission to just go off to some other part of the world where there's no other devotees there and start something up. And that's how it spread all around the world in basically a decade's time. And one of his disciples was writing back to Prabhupada and saying, I'm so alone here. And Prabhupada was saying, I never felt alone. Even when I was in New York and there was no one with me, I never felt alone. You know what he said? Because he said, I always felt the presence of my spiritual master, who's I believe his appearance day is today, or maybe disappearance day. But that there's these realized souls can feel the presence of someone even when they're not physically present, and they can feel a unity, an intimacy and a unity with someone. That's part of what's special about being alone sometimes, is that it opens up the door for you to have an intimate connection with God in your own heart that you may be ignoring all the time. So when you're alone, we try to fill that up. Let me put on Netflix, let me do something, to fill in this gap. But like the yogis, like, no, this gap is where I can start to explore a bit, go deeper. I think Einstein was fooling around with it, Yeah, story arigato, Mr. Raghu-san.
The Bhagavad Gita gives us a good map, I will say. It gives us a good map of what is, where is north, where is south, where is east, where is west, where are the sinkholes, where is the thorn bushes, where are the trampolines or the catapults to go further. But it's just the map. You actually have to work it. You actually have to put it to use. It's a good way to frame out the world, but you really have to sort of do the work yourself individually. The collective club will not save you per se. You got to actually get in there and do the work. But we have a really nice way of viewing the world and the mind and the senses and the desires and the soul and the supreme soul. It's actually a very, very nice way to look at reality. Try it out if you're new to this. Try out our set of lenses. You know, get it some beads, chant them all with the japa malas, with the chanting of the holy name. Just try to chant one round and hear the sound vibration, and practice that on a regular basis and see what happens.
It can really
check
be
in with the podcast or listen to the Bhagavatam or listen to a lecture. Read a chapter of the Bhagavad Gita every day. See what happens. Try out our set of lenses. Try on our kimono. See how it feels. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But me and Pranapriya are dressed in beautiful Japanese robes today.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready, Prabhu.
Let's do it.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta priyesha vadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama bhaktir bhavate naishtaki. By regular attendance in class on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmadam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, Text 47.
47, okay.
My glasses, but the reflection is driving me crazy. Oh, you got the good ones? Okay. Lord Krishna's transcendental body was decorated with peacock feathers and flowers and painted with forest minerals. And his bamboo flute loudly and festively resounded. As he calls out to his calves by name, his cowherd boyfriends purified the whole world by chanting his glories. Thus, Lord Krishna entered the cow pasture of his father, Nanda Maharaj, and the sight of his beauty at once produced a great festival for the eyes of all the cowherd women.
Wow.
Krishna is a festival for the eyes.
That's one of those kind of paints you a picture of the spiritual realm in detail.
Text 48. As the cowherd boys reached the village of Braj, they sang, "Today Krishna saved us by killing a great serpent." Some of the boys described Krishna as the son of Yashoda, and others as the son of Nanda Maharaj.
So that had really happened a year earlier, but since they just kind of reappeared, but to them it just felt like a moment, it seems like it's new to them.
Well, maybe it was. Maybe they're just singing the pastimes of Krishna. You know,
They said today Krishna saved us by killing a great serpent.
I know, but I was thinking maybe it's just the song, because they're singing a song of Krishna doing this and that.
I think these songs are spontaneous compositions.
So I'm saying maybe he didn't kill the serpent today. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know what you're saying. Like they're singing a song about the day that he killed the serpent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is I believe the song is a spontaneous song based on the fact that they think that he actually did just kill it that day.
Okay. I think different, but yes, that's what you think. I appreciate your thought.
Thank you.
We're trying to be very polite today.
I think this Japan is good for you.
People are so damn polite here. It's ridiculous. I'm like the most loudest guy on the train. Oh my God. King Parikshit said, "O Brahmana, how could the cowherd women have developed for Krishna? How could the cowherd women have developed for Krishna, someone else's son? Such unprecedented pure love. Love they never felt even for their own children. Please explain this."
Okay. So here you go. Here's the question.
Seems crazy, huh?
Yeah, here I think it's mentioned that when they say the gopis are the cowherd women, it's like like the mothers, right?
Yeah.
And they had this feeling of love for Krishna, even beyond the feeling for their own sons. How is that? And now, so again, we should pause sometimes. We should try to picture this in our mind that on the bank of the river, surrounded by sages, the king Shukadev, who's very near death now, right? He's got just a couple, 3 days left, maybe less. But he's so deep into this that there's not a drop of fear in him. He's not feeling any anxiety. He's sitting in front of a 16-year-old naked boy sage, the son of Srila Vyasadeva, who's got like his hair just kind of like scattered across his face, and he's just like sitting there like channeling the purest knowledge of the self, of God, of the universe that he's ever heard in his life. And he's just taking it in with fascination, and it's got to this stage where it's describing that most secret, confidential, but beautiful aspect of reality, Sri Krishna himself in the realm of Vrindavan, the absolute truth in the personal, beautiful form, and how everyone is relating to him. So he's just really fascinated at this point. And he just noticed this point, right, that this is strange. You're telling me about this world where everyone loves this Krishna so much. Normally we love our own children more. It's just, we can't even help it, right? It's like, it's just the way that our hearts seem to work. How is it that it wasn't like that with Krishna? What's the difference? What's the distinction here? And now Shukadeva Goswami is just going to start to speak about, he's going to start here, and he's going to kind of like lay out like the baseline rule of love now, like how love works. And it's very interesting psychology he's going to share.
Here's what he says. Here's Sukadeva Goswami. "O king, for every created being, the dearmost thing is certainly his own self." You ever do that? Ever like, hey, check out pictures of my vacation. Look, here's me doing this. Here's me doing that. It's like no one's that interested in your pictures as much as you would like to think they are. They want to see them for a moment, and then they want to move on with things about themselves. It's like the way the mind works.
Yeah.
O king, for every created being, the dearmost thing is certainly his own self. The dearness of everything else, children, wealth, and so on, is due only to the dearness of the self. Okay. Like that child is dear to me because he's my child. This house is dear to me because it's my house. If it was somebody else's house, I'd be like, it's okay. We have a...
Yeah. and I think what he's also kind of pointing at is we consider our children, we'll even consider our property kind of as part of our identity, as part of ourself, right?
Sure.
Who am I? I'm not just this body, but I'm this body with children, with a spouse, with a home, with a nation, maybe, that all becomes part of who I am. And that's naturally where our love flows. So this is what he's saying, like, he's not even judging this, Shukadeva Goswami. He's just saying this is kind of just like a truth, in existence, that love flows towards what is experienced as the self. So that's the first part of his answer, and he's gonna elaborate on it a bit.
Indeed, for persons who think the body is the self.
51.
Oh, I'm sorry. For this reason, O best of kings, the embodied soul is self-centered. He is more attached to his own body and self than to his so-called possessions, like children, wealth, and home.
So that self is right at the center of it.
Indeed, for persons who think the body is the self, O best of kings, those things whose importance lies only in their relationship to the body are never as dear as the body itself.
Okay.
If a person comes to the stage of considering the body mine instead of me, he will certainly not consider the body as dear as his own self. After all, even as the body is growing old and useless, one's desire to continue living remains strong. Interesting. Therefore, it is his own self that is most dear to every embodied living being. And it is simply for the satisfaction of this self that the whole material creation of moving and non-moving entities exists.
Okay. This is, yeah, yeah, it's again, I just can't help but picture the scene on the bank of the river and Shukadev just like sharing this stuff and all the sages gathered around fully attentive, you know. It was saying they stayed up for 7 days and nights and didn't eat or sleep. They were just
imagine.
so focused, right?
You know what I mean? That's always been a hard one for me to believe. Come on.
That's what's hard. There's so much other stuff that's like so beyond.
I know.
that.
They say the demigods flew down and are listening to the conversation. I can believe that. Staying
not
up for
going out.
24 hours for 7 days, that's hard to believe.
Well,
I
that's what they
believe
say.
that the person who wrote this down had an elephant's head. I believe that.
Okay.
But staying up for 7 days straight, I find that very hard to believe.
All right.
I mean, I'm jet lagged right now. I'm falling asleep standing up. Like right before the show, I was falling asleep standing up.
But this is what really fascinates me about this. So he's kind of laying out like universal rules. This is how the universe works. You know, we feel a sense of love that flows towards ourself. It may also flow. It's going to naturally flow to that which we identify closely with the self. Therefore, you love your children, and you don't necessarily love another's children. Certainly not with the same kind of intensity.
Sure.
Okay, so he's established that. Now you would think, and he just said this is how the material creation functions. You just have to look at it. And you'll see the principle playing out everywhere. Now you would think that maybe he was going to say, you need to destroy that tendency in order to become free. But it's not exactly what he says, actually. Instead, where he goes is what you identify as yourself has to broaden. And I think that's a little bit where Einstein was going, you know. He's like, we think of ourselves as separate. When we start to think, when we start to think of ourselves as all parts of one, then our compassion, the circle of our compassion grows. And so it's not that we have to stop loving what we identify as the self, but we have to broaden the idea of what is the self. And what Shukadev is going to show here is that these gopis, they weren't going to break the law of love, which was that love flows to yourself and what you identify as yourself. But they were kind of fulfilling that law on a deeper metaphysical level, and that's what it means to evolve. That you understand that there's a self, there's a notion of self that I have been out of touch with, and if the awareness of that broader self arises in me, then naturally my love starts to flow everywhere, as broad as that notion of love is. So this next text is really crucial, text 55.
You should know Krishna to be the original soul of all living entities. For the benefit of the whole universe, he has, out of his causeless mercy, appeared as an ordinary human being. He has done this by the strength of his internal potency.
Okay. This is
Those
again,
in this world.
Well, let's just talk about text 55 just for a bit. Can you hear me? Am I lagging on you? I think Raghunath's freezing. You there, Raghu?
Yeah.
Raghu?
Yep.
Okay. We're getting a
I'm
little
here.
lag here. Yeah. But this is an incredibly important answer. And there's like a key to the universe here, you know, and like Einstein was just like, he was nibbling away on the edge of it, I think, But this idea that he opens up by saying you should know Krishna to be the original soul of all living entities. That means, what is the soul? The soul is the self. What is Krishna? He is ourself, in a sense. Like for the sun ray to identify the sun as the self is a natural connection, because I am the energy of the sun. I shouldn't feel some kind of, although in one sense the ray of the sun is ontologically different from the sun, in another sense it is nothing but the sun. It is the energy of the sun. It's entirely, its existence, if it understands who I am, the ray of the sun will be like, I am the sun. I am the sun. I'm not, of course I'm dependent on the sun, but in a sense I am the sun. And they would feel in no way separate. One might, in other words, we can recognize our own individuality, and we can recognize our own ontological difference from God, from Krishna. But in that fully evolved state, when we actually understand reality as it is, we understand that I am made of Krishna. There's nowhere I can turn where I don't see Krishna. There's just nothing but Krishna. And when you feel that, then because when love flows to the self, then you're kind of seeing you're seeing yourself as, in one sense, connected with everything, and it becomes one big giant, cosmic self, and therefore now your love, by flowing, it will naturally flow to Krishna, even more than your own children, because your own children are just little parts of that, And so whether these cowherd women, could explain this philosophically, like the acharyas who comment on this can, or like Shukadeva Goswami could, they understood just how special Krishna was, and their love flowed to him. They in no way felt disconnected from him. They didn't feel like I'm removed from him because he's not my son. They just felt like he is my very self. He's the soul of my very soul. And they were right. So like their love, it wasn't like a materialistic love. It wasn't social. It wasn't like a biological or hormonal thing, or psychological thing. It was a metaphysical understanding that just spontaneously arose in their minds and their hearts.
I like it.
All right.
Okay, text 56. Those in this world who understand Lord Krishna as he is seen
in all things.
Those in this world who understands Lord Krishna as he is seen in all, as he is
in all things. I think it must be.
Okay, it's a typo. I thought I was losing my mind. Whether stationary or moving, as manifest forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such enlightened persons recognize no reality apart from the Supreme Lord Krishna.
There you go, right? This is Einstein saying, we think we're separate. But here it's saying that enlightened persons, they recognize no reality apart from the Supreme Lord Krishna.
There's
nothing separate.
Everything is handed to us by Krishna.
Sometimes Srila Prabhupada, when he writes about the materialist, he uses the word the separatist.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so good, huh?
Yeah. And that's exactly where Einstein was coming. Yeah, we feel separate. And Prabhupada, he kind of got to the essence of there. I am separate. I'm not dependent. I'm not connected. That's the prison that Einstein was talking about. And Prabhupada calls it the separatist.
It's such a good way to put it, the separatist.
Yeah.
They're separate from the whole. They're disconnected.
Yeah.
Unless they're sad. Because their happiness comes from being part of something bigger. I mean, that is... regular people get that. And our very first step towards that is finding a partner. Our second step is having a couple kids, raising a family. And we think, well, Now I feel part of something bigger. And oftentimes we do. It's so much more satisfying than being alone and selfish. But that's not it. And that tiny little unit is not connection to the whole. It's connection to more than yourself, but not connection to the whole. The loneliness will follow.
Right.
That wife or that husband will not be your God, can't be your God. That's not what they are. It'll never give you what the soul actually desires. The child, which I can say, the whole your daughter in your arms, the day she was born, it's like the most fulfilling thing. Or for the child to grow and just say da 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 da. It's like the most satisfying thing, the most joy you ever get. But it's also intricately woven with the greatest pain you can ever experience. It's linked with so much anxiety and fear and worry about that child. So I think that it's not your God, and don't let it become your God. It can be there, and you can help these people on their way to God. They can give you joy, they can give you love, but they're not going to be able to replace God in your life. The soul is lonely and yearns deeply for reconnection, not this separatist mentality, thinking I can enjoy without God in my life.
And I think this is really significant too, like what's being revealed here by Shukadeva Goswami in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, right? We're really getting down to like, it's stories about Krishna, but it's like got this incredible metaphysical, understanding being shared. In Vedanta, we all buy into some of these ideas that we're discussing, like my children are not mine. They're only we're only connected for moments, right? A blip in time, and then we're separated forever. These bodies are not us, and we identify that body because it comes from our body as part of us, but that's all illusion, and that illusion must be broken. And yes, that illusion must be broken, but maybe the more common way, the more stereotypical way that one would approach that would be to, in a way, snuff out that love, right? That love is illusion. Counter it with knowledge, right? It's ignorance. Counter that ignorance with knowledge. Recognize that these aren't my children. This is not my family. This is not my nation, etc. Walk away from it. Whereas this isn't saying that. This isn't saying don't love your children. This is saying expand the love, right? Don't nullify the love, but expand it beyond your family by recognizing that your family is special because of the energy of Krishna. Yourself is special because it's the energy of Krishna. And guess what? Everything else is too, and everyone else is too. Expand it. Don't snuff it. Expand it out. It should just keep growing and growing and growing. And it's a very different. That's a very different approach. That's the bhakti approach.
And the separatist. I'm going to dwell on the separatist again too. One of our dear listeners, Maya, is releasing her single. What's it called? Bass Jump, on Spotify, available. But and there's a desire, because I was a musician too. That desire to be recognized, to be valid. It's there in everyone, but you see that in actors and performers and artists and musicians, and they misconstrue, not Maya because she has knowledge, but the musician or the artist, etc., misconstrue that public validation to be in God. If I can get validated by everybody for my art, then I will finally feel whole and complete. And you just won't. Even if the entire world pats you on the back and says, "You're the best, Raghu," it still will not fill your cup. It's almost like filling a cup that's got like a crack at the bottom. It'll just drain right through. The real thing that will satisfy you is creating that music and having an offering for Krishna. And to any degree of success you have in getting that out to the world, even in the act of just recording it and just you hear it, that will be enough. Because, I'm doing this with the intention of service. And that's enough. And then sometimes Krishna may take that to very high levels, medium level, whatever level it is. But that desire to get that recognition from fame, for my beauty. I want people to notice how beautiful and how cool I am, and that extends to how cool I dress, or it extends to how cool, how sexy or hot my body is, or how ripped I am. The infatuation with the body. I don't know if our culture's ever been more infatuated with the body than it is perhaps in 2025. What do you think, Kaustubha? It wasn't like that when we were young.
I mean,
Like
it was certainly there, but
bodybuilding didn't become a thing until like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Remember when Pumping Iron came out? No one cared that much. Do you remember the original Superman in the 60s? He looked like some chump on the street. He didn't look
that was
muscle
Raghunath. That was
bound.
just his disguise.
He had like no.
He was trying to look like a nerd.
My point is, we're thinking we can get this untouchable beauty, untouchable fame, untouchable intellect or something like we were saying. You started the show off. People become scientists because they want to be the knowers. They want to have one up. They want to try to take down. No one can know more than me. But the fact is that knowledge won't fill the cup. Right? Very often we see people who have everything. They have all the public accolades, and they're very sad, more lonely than you'd ever respect. That person's lonely. That person suffers from depression. That person's suicidal. How could that be? They have everything.
They're really separate.
Yeah, they're separate. They're not connected. So whether we do it in a little tiny way, whether, Maya's playing guitar in her room or she's, on stage in front of 50,000 people, it's not the 50,000 people that are going to make her complete.
It might actually make her feel more separate.
Yeah. Are you kidding? You could feel real separate because you might feel the high when everyone's going, Maya, 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 and chanting her name. But as soon as she gets off the stage, where's everybody? And then you have this incredible dark night of the soul. Not you, Maya. You're good. You're good.
Okay. So we don't want to end on it. We're out of time. I don't want to end it on a dark night of the soul moment.
But everybody get her record on Spotify right now.
Okay. Bass jump.
Bass jump. Yeah. All right. Ready for some takeaways?
Yeah.
Okay.
Squirrel suit is the B-side.
I think the kimono is something like a squirrel suit. Raise your arms.
It is very. Who was the first person to say, you know what? I'm going to try the squirrel suit thing. Who was the first person that did that? There must have been a bunch of real fails with that.
I don't know.
How did they do it? Did they put like a dummy?
Well, they have a parachute on, so if it doesn't work, they're okay.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
All right. You ready for some takeaways? Brutal.
Yes.
Get out of your me-centered universe.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah.
The delusion of separateness imprisons us with fear.
The delusion of separateness. Oh my God.
Separatist, yeah.
That's powerful. The delusion of separateness
Imprisons us with fear. Yeah. The self-realized soul can be alone but not lonely.
All right.
I'm still attached. I know it. I know it. I don't want to die.
You don't even want to be alone, Prabhu.
Today we went to these what are they called? Onsens? Onsens.
What's that?
You know what that is, Kaustubha? It's
No,
like
no
these
idea.
hot baths. These hot baths. Like
How
these
many
hot
baths have you been taking? You're in the tub, you're in the
baths, like
onsen.
crazy. But these were like
They're beautiful.
spring water baths outside.
I guess that's why the kimono is there, because you're just taking baths all the time. You can just drop it,
taking baths.
pop it back on.
So anyway, I thought we were all going to bathe together, and they were like, "You got to bathe naked." I was like, "I don't want to bathe with."
Oh, we remember what happened last time you did that, Raghunath?
What?
Up in Northern California. Remember?
The guy. Wait. I'm telling a story before you get into another story. Let me finish my story. So I'm going in there, and so Dominica, beautiful outdoor baths, but you got to like shower.
They're separate. The
A
men
bunch
and
of-
women bathe
yeah,
them.
men and women are all separate, but we're all what do they call it? We're all nude. I'm with a bunch of nude Japanese men today. That's what my afternoon was like. But my point was that I did.
Yes.
I didn't want to. I wanted to hang out with Mara and Dominica, and they were like, "Well, Raghu,
you're
you could just
alone.
do it alone. You could just do it alone." And I was just like, "I don't want to be alone,
Naked and alone.
naked and alone with a bunch of strange Japanese men."
I was thinking about. I think those were the last hot springs I went to. Were the ones in Northern California.
Oh, the ones in
Remember
North
that?
Car. Oh, yeah, Northern California.
And I
were
think you
the-
snuck in or something like that, and then the naked
No,
guy
no,
came
no.
up
You
to
know what happened
happened?
was I was in the hot spring. You're not supposed to have any cell phone there.
Oh, okay, that's
And you know,
And you had a
and,
watch.
and I had my iWatch on, and I was
And-
getting a drink of water, and a guy comes up behind me. He goes, "You know, you're not supposed to be having that watch here."
he was a very
and I
beautiful
was
man,
like-
wasn't he?
He was a big, beautiful man too, but he worked there, and he had a little bit of an attitude. He said, "You know, you're not supposed to have that watch here." I said, "Actually, you're not supposed to talk here because
Oh.
it says no talking." I said, "You're not supposed to talk here."
Nice.
He goes, "I work here."
Then you should
And I
know
go,
better.
No, I said, "Oh, really? My grandfather built this place."
You didn't. You lied. Then what did he say?
And he goes, "He did." And I go, nah.
Okay, but you took the steam out of his
took the
sails,
steam
the,
out of
the
his
wind out of
sails,
his
that's for
sails.
sure.
Yeah,
You know what? I just don't like people with attitudes.
Northern
I don't give
California.
people an attitude, do I? I think I'm pretty nice to everybody I meet.
You're pretty nice.
I'm nice.
You're nice.
Now Dana Kay is bringing up an important point of the naked man in the box. That was another story.
It's another story. There's a naked man making. I have a lot of naked men in my life. Yeah. I think I would have been more afraid if I were like, okay, me and Mara and Dominica have to get naked together. That would have made it really freaked me out.
That would have been too awkward.
Yeah.
It would have been really
Would
awkward.
have been awkward. All right, should we get back to the takeaways now that we've given our
Yes.
listeners too much to imagine?
Too much to get it out of your minds, everybody. Everyone's trying to imagine this. Take these pictures right out of your mind.
We weren't actually. We weren't.
All right, back to the takeaways.
Were
Takeaways. The embodied soul is self-centered.
That's right.
naked, embodied. soul.
Naked.
The collective club will not save you. We each have to do our own work.
Collect your clothing.
The
after you
collective
leave.
naked club.
Broaden your identity of self.
The naked self.
Don't turn it into a naked one. No more naked takeaways.
Okay.
Nothing is separate. It's all handed to us from Krishna.
Nothing on
That's
your
right.
body.
Separatists are sad.
Oh.
Separate.
That
from
wasn't
the
even like
club.
an insult. Like you guys are sad. It was just like, no, being separate is sad. It's a compassionate statement.
Being separate is very sad. I've been there.
Oh.
Knowledge and validation won't fill our cup.
Ooh.
No.
Knowledge, validation,
And
Yeah.
and
don't nullify the love. Expand the love.
No, that's right. Don't snuff it
expand
out.
The love.
Expand it.
Don't snuff it out.
Thanks everybody for joining us.
When do we get back together again?
We're back tomorrow
We're
night.
back tomorrow, people. Tomorrow
We
morning.
are.
Yeah.
Oh, tomorrow. That's right.
Tomorrow morning,
That's
New
right.
York time.
Yeah, that's right.
We are back.
Okay,
We're
same
going to
time.
take you to another exciting city in Japan, where potentially we may wear clothing. If I'm on here in
Just
my
keep. We're gonna just keep the knot on that kimono tight, okay?